Ever feel like you could use a little more, I don't know, insight when it comes to people in your life? Like maybe get a little peek behind the personality curtain.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're taking a deep dive into the Chinese Zodiac,
Okay.
specifically the year of the dog,
I like it.
to help you understand those relationships a little bit better. And you see, we hear you. You've got a dog playing a pretty important role in your life right now.
Yeah.
So we're here to break it all down.
I love it.
Now,
It's fascinating how,
yeah,
cultures throughout history have really tried to understand personality, right?
right.
And compatibility. And the Chinese zodiac offers such a unique way of looking at that. And it's not really about, fortune telling or anything like that, but
Well,
rather.
it's about understanding, like you said, those strengths and weaknesses
Exactly.
and how different personalities might interact with each other, which
Yeah,
that's where the good stuff is.
for sure.
Now,
Yeah.
our source today is Zodiac Fusion,
Okay.
which blends Eastern and Western zodiac tradition.
I like it.
So we're not just talking year of the dog, but also how that combines with someone's Western sign for an even more, I guess, nuanced
Yes.
perspective.
Yeah.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics.
Okay.
What does it mean to be born in the year of the dog?
Eh.
Beyond, maybe loving long walks and belly rubs, right?
Right. Zodiac fusion really emphasizes traits like loyalty, protectiveness, sincerity. These are hallmarks, really, of the dog personality. So we're talking about individuals with a very strong moral compass, incredibly dedicated to the people that they care about.
Those are some solid qualities.
Yeah.
Like the kind of friend you can always count on, no matter what.
Absolutely.
But when no one's perfect, right?
Right.
What about the flip side?
Sure.
Are there any potential, challenges or quirks our listeners should be aware of when it comes to dogs?
Well, one thing the website points out is that dogs can sometimes be,
Okay.
a little overly critical.
Okay.
And this applies to themselves as well as other people.
Oh, interesting.
And it's not necessarily coming from a bad place, though.
Right.
It often stems from their really high standards and their desire for things to be done right.
That makes sense. And it ties into that whole loyal to a fault kind of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Someone with that unwavering dedication might also be quick to spot when, someone else isn't meeting that same bar.
For sure.
So how does this tendency for criticism, I guess, how does that play out in their relationships?
Yeah.
Do they sugarcoat things or are they very direct?
They're very much straight shooters. Zodiac Fusion describes their communication style as very straightforward, honest.
Okay.
They value authenticity, genuine connection.
Okay.
So you're not going to find them beating around the bush
Yeah.
or engaging in superficial small talk.
Ah, so keeping it real is the name of the game.
Yes,
Honesty on the table, for better or for worse.
exactly.
Yeah. I can already see why our listener might want some extra guidance here. This is starting to get really interesting.
Sure.
This is good stuff. So we've got this picture of dogs being loyal, sincere, maybe a little bit set in their ways.
Right.
But remember, Zodiac Fusion takes things a step further, right?
Yeah, yeah.
By weaving in Western astrology.
Exactly.
So tell me more about how that works.
So it's all about layering, right? So
Yeah.
you take those core dog traits, that loyalty, that protectiveness, and then you add, let's say, the fiery passion of an Aries.
Okay.
Or the grounded dependability of a Taurus.
I see.
And suddenly you've got this much more nuanced picture of somebody's personality.
It's like adding spices to a recipe.
Exactly.
You start with that basic ingredient, the dog,
Right.
but then each Western sign brings its own unique, flavor to the mix.
Right.
And I'm guessing this is where things go beyond just those, generic horoscope descriptions you see in magazines.
Well, for sure. This goes way deeper. It's about recognizing that complexity of individuals.
Okay.
So, for example, you could have a dog who's also a Gemini,
Right.
and they might be much more social,
Okay.
communicative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas a dog who's a Cancer might be more in tune with emotions, maybe seeks deeper connections.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how knowing someone's full astrological profile, so to speak,
Yeah,
can be so insightful.
for sure.
But wait,
What's that?
there's more.
Chuckles.
Didn't Zodiac Fusion mention something about different types of dogs?
You're absolutely right. We can't forget about those Chinese elements. We've got wood, fire, earth, metal, and water.
Oh, here we go.
And each of those elements brings its own energy to the dog personality.
Okay.
And that creates 5 distinct profiles. So, for example, you could have someone born in the year of the wood dog.
Right.
And they are known for being incredibly compassionate and nurturing.
This is fascinating. So it's not just what year you were born, but also like which element corresponds to that year. It's like those personality tests
Yes.
that say like, oh, you're not just an introvert, you're an adventurer or a mediator or something.
It's at that next level.
Okay, so tell me, what are some of the other dog variations based on these elements?
Well, you've got the fire dog,
Okay.
known for their passion, very energetic,
Mm-hmm.
natural leaders.
Okay.
And then you've got the earth dog, recognized for being practical, grounded,
Right.
and again, that unwavering loyalty.
Okay, so already I'm thinking a fire dog boss would be a very different experience than an earth dog boss.
Totally.
Right. One's probably got you hustling to keep up,
Yeah.
while the other's all about stability and clear expectations and such.
Right. You know what you're going to get.
What about those last two elements?
So we have the metal dog, very disciplined, organized,
Okay.
strong sense of justice.
Gotcha.
And lastly, you've got the water dog,
Yeah.
known for adaptability, intuition,
Right.
and just this ability to kind of go with the flow.
Wow, so much variety within a single zodiac sign.
Mm-hmm.
It makes so much sense why two people born in, the year of the dog could be so different.
Right.
One might be like a social butterfly, always surrounded by friends, while another one prefers quiet nights in with a good book.
Absolutely.
It all comes back to those elemental influences.
Yeah, 100%. And I think this highlights the importance of really looking at that full picture, right?
Yeah.
Rather than relying on those generalizations.
Totally.
But speaking of understanding different personalities, I think maybe we should see what Zodiac Fusion has to say about compatibility,
Yes,
because I know our listeners are particularly interested in that.
you're reading my mind. Let's talk relationships. So we've covered the dog's best qualities, a few things to watch out for.
Right.
How their personality might, be shaped by their Western sign and their element. But what about finding a love match?
Yeah.
Or even just navigating friendships, work relationships, that kind of thing, with a dog?
Right. So when it comes to friendships, Zodiac Fusion points to rabbits and pigs as being particularly compatible with dogs.
Okay, I can see that.
Uh-huh.
Because rabbits are known for being gentle,
Yes.
peace-loving, which I feel like is a good balance to the dog's more, direct style.
Yeah, for sure.
And then pigs have that reputation for generosity and kindness.
Absolutely.
So that sounds like a recipe for, drama-free, supportive friendship.
Right. Exactly.
But what about romantic compatibility? Who's got that special spark with a dog?
So Zodiac Fusion highlights horses and tigers as being the most romantically compatible
Interesting.
with dogs. So horses, with their adventurous spirit, their love for freedom,
Right.
it really complements the dog's more grounded nature. That classic opposites attract.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
The horse brings a little excitement to the
Yeah.
relationship,
Exactly.
and the dog provides, the stability. I like it. And then you've got tigers
Yeah.
who are known for their charisma and passion.
Yeah. Very dynamic.
So I can see how that would be, again, a very dynamic pairing
For sure.
with a dog's very loyal and devoted heart.
Absolutely.
But I'm guessing not all signs are a match made in, astrological heaven.
Chuckles. Right.
What about those pairings that might be a little trickier?
Yeah, so Zodiac Fusion does mention that dragons, goats, also known as sheep and roosters, might present some more challenges for dogs.
Okay.
Now, important to note, this doesn't mean these relationships are doomed,
Right.
just that navigating those differences might require a little more effort, a little more understanding.
So it's all about being aware of those potential, I guess, friction points
Exactly.
and being ready to, compromise and communicate effectively. Kind of like, when you and your partner have different love languages,
Yeah,
it doesn't mean you're headed for disaster,
right.
but it does mean you need to, put in the effort to understand each other's needs.
Absolutely.
Speaking of effort, does Zodiac Fusion offer any practical advice
Yes.
for building successful relationships with dogs? Beyond just saying, good luck, you'll need it.
Chuckles.
Okay.
Thankfully, they do. The website goes beyond just, listing compatible and challenging signs.
Okay.
And actually gives really specific advice on how to be a good friend, a good lover, a good colleague to someone born in the year of the dog.
Okay, so what's the secret? How do you win over a dog?
Okay.
Keep them in your life for the long haul.
Well, one of the key things they emphasize is honesty, because dogs value that straightforward communication, that
Yeah.
authenticity.
Right.
So trying to sugarcoat things or playing mind games, that's going to backfire.
Got it. No need to beat around the bush.
Exactly.
Just keep it real.
Keep it real.
Well, one thing that really stood out to me was, They talked about patience,
Right.
especially in romantic relationships.
Yes.
And Zodiac Fusion was explaining how, dogs might take a little bit longer to really,
Yeah.
open up and
Oh,
be fully vulnerable.
for sure.
So trying to rush that connection
Right.
or push for that, I guess, vulnerability too soon
Mm-hmm.
could actually have the opposite effect.
Yes, absolutely. Dogs are so loyal and committed. Once, they do kind of open up their hearts,
Right.
but they need to feel safe and secure first.
Right. It's got to be on their terms.
Exactly.
So building that trust at, a pace that feels comfortable for everyone
Absolutely.
is, I guess, really key.
It's key. And, all this talk about how other signs can best, I guess, interact with dogs.
Yeah.
It got me thinking, what about the dog's perspective?
Right. It's not all on everyone else to walk on eggshells around them.
Exactly.
It's about the dog kind of, owning their stuff too.
Owning their stuff. I love that. And understanding those tendencies and using that knowledge for personal growth.
Right. I mean, that's
Self-awareness is, yeah.
it's everything. It really is a game changer.
Mm.
So, for example, imagine a dog, right, who knows that, they can be a little critical
Okay.
instead of letting that create conflict, maybe some arguments and stuff.
Right. They can actually use that knowledge to learn to maybe temper it with a bit of understanding,
Right.
compassion,
Totally.
both for themselves and for the people that they're, interacting with.
I love that. It's such a
Mhm.
powerful thought.
It is.
And, this whole deep dive has been about understanding those dynamics.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I have to ask, did any of the famous dogs listed on Zodiac Fusion surprise you?
I was really struck by the fact that Mother Teresa was born in the year of the dog.
Wow.
And it makes total sense,
Yeah.
when you think about it. Her compassion, her dedication to serving others,
Right.
that really embodies, I think, those core dog traits, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Okay, my turn. Michael Jackson,
Okay.
the king of pop, a dog.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Chuckles. I know.
Yeah.
Right.
But the more I thought about it,
Yeah.
the more it made sense.
Right.
That intense loyalty he had to his fans,
Mhm.
dedication to his craft,
For sure.
even the, sometimes the struggles with criticism, all of it.
Yeah.
It all seems to track.
It makes you realize astrology is not about putting people in these little boxes, right?
Right.
It's about providing a new lens to appreciate how complex people really are.
And on that note, I think this has been such a fascinating journey through, the year of the dog.
Yeah, it has.
And I really hope our listener at home is feeling a little more equipped to navigate those dog relationships in their own life.
Me too.
And remember, it's all about understanding, respecting those differences,
Yes,
and maybe having a few laughs along the way.
for sure. Maybe the most important takeaway here is whether you're a dog yourself or, dealing with a dog in your life, let this be a tool for connection.
Mm.
Use it to build bridges, strengthen bonds, appreciate those unique strengths that each sign brings to the table.
So well said.
Thank you.
And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought. Zodiac Fusion focuses on how other signs can best interact with dogs. But how can someone born in the year of the dog use this knowledge for, I don't know, self-reflection, personal growth, something to chew on? Until next time, happy exploring.